welcome to episode 8 of the Publishing Persuasion, a podcast for writers, by writers. We're just so excited for this next episode. We've been dying to get Hannah Sawyerr on for the longest time because she's just so cool. And speaking of cool, I am with my co-host, the coolest person I know, with her amazing, are those koala earrings?
Yeah.
Okay. With her amazing koala Christmas earrings, Melanie Schubert. Melanie, how are you today?
I'm good. And it occurred to me that we'd be dropping at Christmas. I see your festive stuff is in the background. So I just thought I'd bring it. Yeah, it's so pretty.
I love it.
Since they were koalas, I gave you koala pom-poms too.
Very cute. I love that. How are you, Melanie?
I'm good. It's so hot over here all of a sudden, and I power walked to get my coffee. So I'm in the middle of like coming down from the heat of power walking for my coffee. And then, you know, when you get dressed and you're still feeling that like coming down.
You have the beautiful dew, a morning glow about you.
So it's funny. So lucky that we've got Hannah on today. We managed to score her.
Yeah, she is just a bright light in the community, and her bio is crazy. Like, she is gifted. She is, I mean, when I sent you the bio, when we were putting together the questions, I was just like, holy crap, this woman is talented.
She's amazing. And I agree about her energy is just incredible. I think she's such a bright light in the writing community. And yeah, I just am so stoked that we're finally having her on. So I think we'll just get her straight on. I did want to say that I am so blown away today by the love from our listeners that just erupted out of the ether. It's been quiet. And I guess, did they know we were filming today? Did we post about it? Or maybe Spotify just prompted people their lists of their most listened stuff.
Their most listened podcasts or whatever. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe we were on somebody's list. I know. Oh my gosh, people are listening.
I blushed over it for quite a while. And thank you all, our listeners. We're a bit boggled this morning about all that love, and it was so wonderful. And yeah, it means a lot to us for you all to share. And I'm so really glad some people I didn't even know were religiously listening to us, and it
was just really special, and just made me sort of feel like, okay, we're doing something good here. Yeah.
So thank you, everyone. And now we will get Hannah on.
Look cool, Melanie.
Hi! Yeah,
literally so excited.
Yeah, we're excited.
Me too. I was literally in the waiting room, glasses, no glasses, glasses, no glasses. I went with glasses. I picked my site today.
They look great.
That's good. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's important to see.
Yeah,
Yeah. How are you, Hannah? We're so freaking excited to have you on here.
I'm really excited too. I've been excited all day. I literally feel like I'm just talking with friends. So yeah. I'm excited.
We say that a lot when we finish an ep, that it feels like we just met up at a cafe with our awesome friends and talked about all our favorite things.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love to chat, and I love to chat with y'all, so we're going to have a good time. I'm excited.
Yes, I hope you got a nap in before the pod.
I did. Yeah, if there's one thing I'm going to do, it's take a nap. So
I am all about nana naps. I'm a nana nap pro.
Same.
I wish I could nap. I will nap, and then when I wake up, I am the devil. I cannot. Something happens in the nap that just makes me the worst person ever. I don't know what. I'm a grouch. I can't. I don't know why. It's weird.
I don't like having to set a timer for my nap. Like I like to wake up when I want to wake up. And when I can do that, it's a good nap.
Well said.
Yeah.
That's so
That's
true. If I have to set an alarm, I feel very angry.
Yeah. Especially if it's like a weird time too. Like if you can only nap for like 25 minutes, those are the worst. And I know they say you're supposed to nap for like 20 minutes. I don't believe that.
She doesn't agree. Doesn't agree. Now, will you sleep tonight?
Probably not.
Oh no.
Okay. But that's okay.
Are you a nighttime writer?
Yeah, so I don't like writing during the day. I write either really early morning or really late at night, or both.
Yeah, so you take your naps.
Yeah, I hate writing at like 2 p.m. It doesn't feel right.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I hear that. Yeah.
Why?
Well, let's get right into it, Hannah, because I am dying to know about your book. Well, first of all, like congratulations just in life, just everything.
Thank you.
Like your bio, your story, like just you are amazing. You are the talent. Like I just want to worship you right now. But like let me just worship. Let me worship. But tell us about Call Him by Name, because I know it is this powerful book. So take it away. I want to hear all about it.
Yes.
Yeah. So Call Him by Name is a story about Amina. She's a 16-year-old girl. And she presses charges on her abuser. It's a Me Too novel. She presses charges on her abuser, who's also her pastor. And it's a novel in verse, and it's told through poetry and court transcripts and journal entries. Yeah, and it was kind of like, it's very personal to me because I felt like I was healing along with my main character. So that's Call Him by Name. The short version.
Yeah, it sounds profound, and I a lot of times, honestly, I really do believe that writing is like therapy, and you know, especially when you're putting your own, you know, kind of like your own voice and story into something. So, like just like kudos to you for being brave enough to put that out there into the world. How was that for you? Like, was it, did you struggle with that process?
Honestly, so Call Him by Name was actually pretty easy to write for me. What I'm working on right now is not, but I think Call Him by Name kind of just like, it came a little bit easier because I felt like it was so much that was, there was so much that was left unsaid and so much that I wanted to address. And there was so much that I wanted to say, and I wanted to defend my younger self. So I felt like it was something that was like very, very quick to write. Like the first draft came out pretty quickly. The revision process is something different, but it was very important to me for it to be funny. And so like there were a lot of scenes that were just like fun to write. And I don't know, I look at it and I'm like, 16-year-old Hannah would be proud. So
love that.
Yeah.
Amazing. I can't wait to read it. It sounds so powerful, and yeah, everything I've heard, I'm just like, tell me more. I'll be buying them off the shelves. Taking
it's so far out. It feels like it's just so far out because it's
like that. It's already been a year since we got into Pitch Wars. Like that blew my mind the other day. So for our listeners, Hannah was also in our 2020, the most powerful Pitch Wars class, the class that did it through the pandemic. So
yeah,
like shout out to our class. So yeah, like it's been a year. I couldn't believe it when I saw the announcements for the mentees this year.
I know.
Crazy. That is wild. When is Call Him by Name, like when is your, do you have like an official date yet or a general date of when it comes?
Yeah, so I don't have a date. But I know it's coming out fall 2023, hopefully. That's the date right now.
Yes, you should be so excited.
I'm so excited.
It's amazing. Like it is, I'm so excited for you. And like, and seeing any of our friends from Pitch Wars, like all the different things happening, it's just so amazing to see, you know, what everybody's going through and to see that you're gonna have a freaking book like that.
Yes.
Our class really killed it. Like our class did. I feel like our class definitely like left a mark. Like we did the damn thing. Like
yes, I feel the same. We were there to win.
Yeah, it did feel that way. Yeah, that's funny.
And literally like in the thick of the pandemic, like, come on now, who did it like us? Who did it like us?
No one. Nobody. Well, and I think there was some kind of energy like through all of us of like, we've got to do this. We've got to get this right. And I don't know if it was the pandemic thing or if it was just like all of us collectively just been like, let's go. You know, it was just, there was such an energy like coming from everybody. And it was just like bitch has got to work. Like we have to get through this. And I felt it. And I think part of like afterwards was like kind of like coming down and like taking a breath. And that part is why like Melanie, you know, wanted to kind of do this was
totally
kind of like keep that energy and feeling of community together, which I love so much.
Yes. I love this podcast, by the way. I have been looking forward, because I know we talked about this like a couple months ago, and I have been looking forward to being on this podcast ever since then. Like, I'm like, because I know we were supposed to, like, we did a date change, and it just made me look forward to it even more, because I was like, December, that's what I'm on.
That's it, baby. You're December right here.
The energy in December, Christmas energy, it starts to build. I don't know about you all, but like, I feel it as soon as it starts getting close to December, the air shifts. There's like magic in the air now. Perfect time to have on our all-star guest.
I just like hot chocolate and snow. It snowed in New York for the first time. It was 3 a.m. and of course I was up to see it. And I looked out my window and I was like, that's fucking snow. Like it's snowy right now. Like 'tis the season.
See, you're making Melanie and I both jealous. It's summer in Australia right now. It's summer over there. Like, sorry, Melanie. They have snow.
I was just saying to Angela before you got on the devastation of my childhood, because I grew up watching American and UK TV and dreaming of a white Christmas, but getting a sweltering hot roasting summer. Like, I'm not kidding you, in Coles and Woolies and our supermarkets, a lot of our Christmas cards, the joking ones, have Santa in shorts and like out on the beach just in shorts and a hat with his Santa gut out. It's great. With flip-flops on. It's an Aussie Christmas.
I will say snow is only cute at like the first day. Like after like day 2, especially by like day 3, it's like dirty and like not cute. So
it's not the Hallmark snow that we believe it is, right? The Hallmark Christmas snow.
Thanks, guys.
Well, I want to ask Hannah, is this because you are a poet, like you are amazing. I mean, I've seen you in action on your stories the other day. And is Call Him by Name your first book that you wrote?
Yes and no. So it's my first novel. I wrote a chapbook. It was released in 2017. It was with a small press. It was limited, like a little bit limited run, but I consider that like my first book, and this is my first novel. It was called For Girls Going Into Their Hips.
Oh, I love the sound of that.
Yeah.
Is this still
just the title?
Yeah. What'd you say?
Is it still available?
Unfortunately not. I feel like there was one person who emailed me about it like not too long ago, and I was like, not a lot of people have that. That's pretty cool that you do, because not a lot of people do.
We're gonna want to reprint over here, just saying that.
You know what? I have brought it up. I have brought up like the possibility. I've asked questions about like if it's possible to reprint it. So I don't know, maybe one day. Maybe one day. I'd rewrite it though, because those poems were not very good.
Those early words, and you look back at them and it's just, I honestly have like full-blown heat shame when I read over like really old stuff of mine. I'm just like, I can't believe I sent this to publishers. No wonder they rejected me. I deserved it. It's just,
it's true though.
Grows.
I looked at Call Him by Name for the first time in a long time recently. And I was like, this has a lot of work to do too. But I feel like that's just what happens. I feel like when you can look back at your old stuff and cringe, like that's a sign of growth and you're doing what you're supposed to do.
I like that. Honestly, I really do like that, because it's not so much judging yourself other than like, oh, damn, like I was shitty. It's more of like, damn, I've come far because I know I can switch this and I can do that. That is encouraging to hear, honestly, because when you said you're going to look at it again, because I'm gonna have to start eventually looking at Sinner's Isle again. I was just like cringing inside, but then I was like, no, we're going with the growth. We're not going with the negative. We're going with the positive here.
Yeah,
constant growth.
Yeah, and it's especially dope when you like can cringe, but like exactly how to fix it.
I got to feel like you said that, because that's exactly what I was thinking. It's such a empowering moment when you're like, I can fix this. It's not where I want it, but I know how I can make it better. And I think that's a journey we've all been on, like through something like Pitch Wars. You don't do something like that for fun. Like, it is hard. People who think it's just like just something to do, like to propel their writing career, like, no, that is going to be hard. You're going to have to work harder than you've ever worked. And I'm sure the mentees this year are feeling it now.
I have a quick question for y'all. How many times did you cry?
I lost count.
Yeah. I literally broke down like right before the showcase. I don't know why, like I put all this pressure about that dang showcase. I remember I was out working in the yard, and like my partner was like, what's wrong? And I just went, I just bawled, like for no reason. Like, you have no idea what I've been going through. And he's like, is this the end of the world? Like, is this it? You're not going to write anymore if it doesn't go good? And I'm like, no. And he's like, well, then you're fine.
I had a cry like that before maybe like a week before the showcase too. I didn't go to class. I stayed in my bed and I cried, and I was like, I just don't know. I remember the night of the showcase, because like some mentors will say, I'll let you know when you get your first request, or some mentees will be like, can you let me know when I get my first request so that like I can breathe, whatever. It released at midnight Eastern, right? Midnight Eastern?
Yeah.
And it was like 12:30 Eastern. And I was like, I did not get a single request yet. And I woke up at like every hour, like on the hour that night. And I was like, no text. And I was like, after a while, I was like, Hannah, it's 4 a.m. Like, your mentors are not, even if you did get one, you're not getting one. But it's just we do put like a lot of pressure and emphasis on the showcase. And honestly, like there's so many people who don't sign with their requesting agents at the showcase.
That was me. I got a bunch of like traction, and nobody that like, because they don't, I mean, it's exciting, and obviously it feels good to get that, but really at the end of the day, like, you got to find the agent that really is looking for your work. And they're looking through all these like cool, awesome blurbs, but really maybe that's not really what they're looking for. And so, the showcase is great, but it's not the end all be all for sure.
Really?
Absolutely.
What brought you to Pitch Wars? Where did you first hear about it?
I was on YouTube one day, and I saw an interview with Tome Adeyemi, and she was talking about Pitch Wars, and I was like, what's that? And then I looked it up, and I was like, I can do this. And so from then I just like worked on the manuscript that I had, and I entered Pitch Wars. But really, I feel like because there are so many people who are in Pitch Wars that have known about it for a long time. And I think I didn't realize like how big Pitch Wars was until after. I was like, oh shoot, like this is a big deal.
You know, it was probably better that way, because then it's like a little less pressure of like, holy shit, like there's thousands of people doing the same thing. And if you maybe don't necessarily know like the scale, it's like, I'm just gonna try it.
Definitely.
I will say that I like after doing my research, maybe like 3 weeks before, I was like, oh no, this is a big deal. But I had been working on it for so long that I didn't have that added pressure. Like I only felt like that the last like couple weeks, which I'm happy about. I'm glad about that, because I think I would have like, I don't know, maybe I would have like fell under the pressure, or I don't know. So.
Right. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's a scary thing. How was the whole Pitch Wars like process for you? Like, how'd you do? Besides crying.
It went really well. Like I had really, really great mentors. I had Dante Miedema and Liz Lawson. They were super encouraging, and like we have a group chat to this day. Like the last time I spoke to Dante and Liz was today. Yeah. And I mentor now too. And I like every time I think about like what my mentee needs, I'm like, what would Dante and Liz do? Like,
yes.
They helped me like with my plan. They always let me ask questions. And they were just in my corner. And I think it was especially just like really special to me just because of how close the story was and how emotional the story was. Like I needed that support, and they gave me that support. And that was great. Leading up to Pitch Wars, however, was not so great. I got like a corneal abrasion.
Oh no.
The day I submitted. So I submitted it, and it was like maybe like 97% done. And I was like, I could totally finish this before I get a request. And then I got this corneal abrasion, and I'm sitting here like trying to type with my corneal abrasion.
Oh no.
So that was stressful, but actually like when I did get it, I was like, okay, I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I typed through that corneal abrasion.
That's dedication.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Pandemic corneal abrasion, like it's just too much. I would have been melting down in the bathroom. Did it make it hard to see? I don't really know what a corneal abrasion is.
Yeah, it was a bad one. Like there are some that like I actually have had a corneal abrasion in both eyes. It is what it is. This one wasn't that bad. This one was horrible, and this was the one that I had it in, and so I like eye patch, sunglasses, like yeah.
Oh
my gosh.
True. See, this is why our class is gritty. We are scrappy in a fight, and no corneal abrasion gonna hold us down. Like,
no, seriously, we don't play around. Like
no. What do you have any like nuggets of advice to the hopefuls working away this year?
Who are currently working?
Yeah.
Make a schedule. I something that's really helpful. I'm looking at my cork board right now. I always like print out my outline or edit letter or whatever, and I highlight like what I've addressed and what I've done as I go, so I can only focus on like what's next, and I don't like look back. I think that's super helpful. And also just breathe. Like it'll happen when it happens. And something that was really helpful for me, and this will come later in the process, obviously, because the showcase isn't until February, I think, this year, right? When it comes to the showcase, my mentors were really good about having a list of agents that I could query that were not Pitch Wars participating. And so if you don't get the outcome that you wanted from the showcase, you can always have that list to query, because after you've done the showcase, you have all the materials that you need to query anyway, and they're polished. And so I think that plan helped ease my mind a little bit. Like, okay, like even if none of these Pitch Wars agents request, this is a list of agents that have said they are looking for things that are similar to mine that I can query, like regardless.
Yeah, so. That's so valuable. And just to come out of it with a query letter as a whole, like that is, we all know query letters are just so freaking hard to get right and all of that. So just to have the package ready to go. And one thing you said that I thought was like, it snagged, it said, just breathe. And I think like that, and it'll come when it comes. And I think that for just writers in general, it's like we get so like in our heads and like wrapped up about what we have to do, like the next thing that we're going for, our next goal. And sometimes we forget to just breathe and like just let the universe just work for us. And what we need is gonna come. And so like that advice, like I'm gonna put it in my pocket too, because I have to remind myself that like daily. And just like taking that breath.
And I also think it's very wise advice that you had like a backup plan ready to go, because I feel like the whole journey is a backup plan. Do you know what I mean? Like I found that times when I was like hinging everything on one thing was when I was like delusional about where my work was at, about the industry, and I forgot B. There was a B.
A is good.
Gone.
A is good.
But my point is not latching on to one area of the dream, because when you do, you kill other dreams that can be born. Like if you
that was good.
Yeah, I've just realized this lately, like if you latch onto one version of what your career could be, I'd still be writing middle grade and trying to push a book that was like something I wrote 5 years ago. And by letting that idea go and kind of like just seeing where the path would take me, finding people who encouraged me and brought out the best in me, you start to find new dreams. And by having multiple ones, if this isn't a path, you don't take it as a no, this career isn't for me. You take it that wasn't my path and something else can open up. As soon as you stop clinging to that, you can find another way that's even better. Like what I'm writing now is so much truer to what I watch and what I vibe with. And I'm just like, yes, I'm going to binge that. I feel like I'm closer to writing that now. Whereas if I kept holding on to middle grade version, I would still be doing that.
You are actually preaching. I agree with that. I hear that and I felt that in my soul. I think because there was a time when I thought writing a book would be whack. Like I was like, why would I do that?
Yeah, totally.
Here I am. And it's like what I love to do the most. Like if it were up to me, I think like 5-10 years ago, I thought I would be slamming, which is still dope, but I would have never known like how much I love writing books and how much I love being able to write in a narrative arc if I didn't sit down and be like, what if,
Yeah.
The what if, that's it. What if?
Seriously.
And look where you're at now. Like you've got a book.
The journey.
That's amazing. How has it been on the other side of things for Pitch Wars as a mentor?
Yeah.
I love my mentee so much. She's the sweetest person. Her book is, when I tell you this girl can write her ass off, her name is Lily, by the way. But she's just so, like, she sent us like her revised outline because we had to like restructure some things. And I'm like, yo, this girl's mind. Like, I'm so excited to see what she does. And on like a line level, her writing is just so lyrical and beautiful.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's about to go down. It's about to go down.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah. Where can you find Lily? Is she on Instagram?
She's on Twitter. I can actually find her handle right now. Oh, I'm gonna text her after this and be like,
shout out.
Yes, hold on. I'm gonna find her handle. What is her handle?
We are an inclusive community and we like to support all our writing.
Okay.
So
that's right.
I'll spell it out since it's a video. So at LILIANHLAI. Follow her and keep up with her journey. She actually literally just announced like the actual project. Yeah, and we were like, do it. We had to like dare to do it, but she did it.
So she's like kind of new onto like the Twitter scene for like bookish Twitter, or is it called bookish Twitter?
No, because she
Okay.
blogs. She actually
Okay.
blogs. But this is actually her. I feel like I'm telling all her business. She'll forgive me. This is actually her first manuscript, which is another thing. Like, this is your first manuscript, and it's already like so good. So I just can't wait to see what it.
But like,
oh,
this is
that's
what I'm here
exciting.
for. Just watching your face while you talk about your mentee, I'm like, this is what I came for, you know, like to Instagram, to Twitter, because as Angela knows, I say this a lot, I used to hate social media because it can be very overwhelming. You can attract like really negative minded people, but this here is what we're about at Publishing Persuasion.
Yeah, you know, sometimes I feel like publishing Twitter gets it right. You know,
every once in a while, sometimes, every once in a while.
Yeah.
Twitter used to scare me. It doesn't scare me as much, but it used to be like I don't know. I was nervous to put anything out there. It just you just don't know. Instagram, I'm more careful or comfortable, but Twitter scares me.
Right. I feel like you have to know when to turn it off.
Yeah.
Like there are days like that I will open the Twitter app and be like, oh, today's just not a day where I'll be on Twitter.
Yeah.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Just on any social media, right? Like just sometimes mentally you're just like, I am not here for this right now. Like I need to shut it down. Okay. So you have a book deal. What's the process now for you? Are you guys like editing your book? Like what happens once you after you sign that book deal? I am curious.
So I actually will not start editing until next year, 2022. So right now it's kind of like the waiting period. We got the offer July, like early July. And so now it's like just waiting. And then right now I'm trying to work on something else because like I don't want to like get out of the groove. But yeah, I don't release until fall 2023, so I won't get an edit later until 2022.
Okay. Well, and that's good to know because the publishing industry like is so slow, you know, or sometimes it can be crazy fast. And then other times you're just kind of waiting, you know, for obviously for editors who are busy doing their own thing too.
Right. And if you don't know that, sometimes it's like what's happening, is it bad? But I've spoken to my friend who was like, girl, you're fine, like I got an edit letter like 10 months before I debuted. And I was like,
okay.
I was like, is it supposed to move this slow? It is and it will.
So. That's great. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I'm putting it down on things to know.
I feel like I like to think of publishing now as this, like, I'm sure I heard this somewhere, I'm ripping someone off, but like a sleeping giant. Like it's so slow to wake it, but once it gets going, it can like make move. I don't know why I'm acting it out. And make moves across the land.
Seriously.
Recently, I've got some editors considering my Pitch Wars book. I pitched it to them in Australia. We can just pitch at an event, and an event came up and I took the opportunity to pitch it. It's more than 3 months since I pitched, and I was like, ooh, should I nudge? Like, I don't want to be like, so I did a very like gentle, I know we've just had a pandemic nudge, just, is it still under consideration? They're both still considering it like 3.5 months later. And it's just that thing of like, wow, like you could think it's already dead in the water, but 3.5 months later, they're still thinking about it. And it's just sometimes that slow. They've got other clients, they've got other things that they're picking up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think publishing tests like how great you are at keeping a secret, because I almost said a name, but I won't say a name. But I have a friend who had interest from an editor, and I think it was like damn near a whole year had passed, and that editor offered. So she went ahead and she found like representation because she wanted someone to, negotiate contracts and all that stuff. But it took like almost a year. And that editor is someone who reached out to her and was like, I want this book.
Wow.
So, yep.
I think
and it's like
opening for people, like a younger version of me would think that's all of that was like a negative signal, like when you're new to the industry, you would feel like that's a bad signal if it was taking long, but it's literally just the industry. Lots of waiting, lots of patience. So Zoom is already counting us down for 10 minutes left to go. We did have some listener questions for you. I seriously can't believe how quick that went. So
same.
We had an listener question from Deba, who was also in our class.
Yes.
We wanted to know, when sending requests or querying, what was turnaround time like for you? And should we take, we just literally discussed that. Should we take long turnaround time as an indication of interest or lack of? We just literally covered that question. But do you have anything you want to add?
I don't think it's about, I don't think it. I think you always want to follow up after a certain amount of time, but I've seen people get offers like months and months later. It's not. I do think that after, what's industry standard? Is it 6 weeks?
Yeah, I think until you can nudge or something.
Yeah.
Give a little nudge back.
But also I think that goes for editors too. Like I've known people who have gotten 6-figure offers after waiting for 9 months. So
Totally. Well, and I'm sure on the mentor side, like you can see, it's just so subjective. Like it's not that a project isn't amazing. It's just that what you have to offer that project, or, what an agent's looking for, what an editor's looking, what a mentor's looking for. It's just so subjective and kind of just like, I wouldn't say luck, but it's that little bit of like magic that it just hits right at that right time.
The only thing I would add is all that applies as long as you are confident that it's the best it can be. Because, and like, depends what your writing crew are saying. Like if you still have feedback from people, like with my book recently, when I started querying and I had a few bites, and then I was kind of like, got declined ultimately from those bites. But when I went to send off more queries and Jess Para was like, no, wait, she's like, I think you could still change this. And so that's the only thing. Like sometimes there's still something you can tweak, but it's not necessarily the be all and end all, is what I don't know what you both think, but I feel like it can definitely up your chances if you do that last revision. And just if you have just multiple, you want multiple people saying it's there,
And also I think don't be afraid to, and I use the word shelve loosely, I think don't be afraid to come back to a project and start a different one, because I hear all the time how authors like thought like their second book would be book 2, but it was actually like book 5. So sometimes it is really a matter of like what works right now. So I'm preparing myself for that, because the book that I'm working on is not under contract, so it would still have to be queried. And so I'm like, okay, it might not be book 2, and that'll be okay. That'll be okay.
Well, and see, that's something so good to hear, because even though you have a book deal, but still you will have to go on that journey again. And that's just this business. That's just what we have signed up for. It's like this constant torture. Just get used to an ass beating. I don't know. Enjoy a good spanking. I don't know.
Really quickly, I just realized I used the word queried, not queried. It would still have to go on sub, because querying is it would still have to go on submission. Which is the difference, if you're listening and don't know. You query an agent to represent your work, but you go on submission typically when you've had an agent, but you can go on submission without an agent depending on the circumstance. And that's when you would just take the book to publishing houses, or your agent would take the book to publishing houses. So
So the other question we had from Deba was, what set apart your agent from the rest? And what did she love most about Hannah's book?
Okay. So I had quite a few offers. So, and honestly, they were all really, really good offers. One, I looked at the agency I really wanted to be at an agency with a film agent in-house.
Mm.
I really, really wanted to work with someone who was open to the fact that I want to write books, but I also am interested in like personal essays and poetry. So I wanted somebody who would be interested in like going on that journey with me as well. And also, did I mention the agency itself? The agency itself was very important to me too. And so once I narrowed it all down, there were like 3 agents that I was seriously considering. But then in the end, like Joanna Volpe and Jordan Hill, I was like, I think that's the right fit for me. And they were just so open to like the things that I want to do, and they just believed in me. Yeah.
I love
yeah. And also I think like you can gauge like reactions to how they feel about your next project and like the work that you're interested in doing in the future. And that's really important too, because you can find an agent that's all about this first book, but if you mention the second one and they're a little lukewarm, you're like, okay, maybe this isn't the one. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I see our less than a minute countdown, which
I
I cannot believe.
I
How
know.
did that even happen?
Seriously.
I do not know.
I call it COVID time.
Right.
Ruined us.
Well, it's been such a delight having you on. Literally 40 minutes just evaporated.
Seriously. I think that's so wild. This was so much fun. Like, I'm so glad that y'all had me
We'll have
on.
to have you again. Definitely.
I would absolutely
Your
love
book
to anytime.
launches. We'll get some promo happening for your book.
Anytime. Thank you.
Thank you for making the time to come on today. And as I thought, we just had a blast.
Yeah.
This is when I feel sad that I'm so far away from the States, because we can't just go for coffee. But you should go for coffee without me. I'll be there in spirit.
One day.
We love you, Hannah. We are so proud of you and all that you have accomplished.
I love y'all too.
Amazing. It is amazing to see your journey.
I love y'all too.
Yeah.
And I love how like we're all rooting for each other and we're like, I know that person. Like I love y'all. I love what y'all are doing. And thank you so much for letting me come on.
Thank you.
Trust me, it's our pleasure, because we've been excited about this for like weeks now. We're like, we got Hannah. She's coming. So. Trust me, it is our pleasure.
So the amazing Hannah Sawyerr, with 2 R's at the end of her name, as I learned recently.
Yes.
Zoom rudely cut us off, and I don't know where that 40 minutes went, because I felt like we just got on with her, which is always the mark of a conversation with a kindred spirit. So
yeah, Hannah is just one of those special souls. And it really, the time when I saw that like 10-minute countdown, I was like, how? Because it's just just listening to her talk about her story, I want to know so much more. Yeah. And I feel like we just barely scraped the surface.
Know. We'll have to
because I had questions. Like I was like, and then when I saw the 10-minute countdown, I was like, guess I'll have to wait and see. Because I want to know what she's working on next. I want to know everything. So we'll definitely have to have her on again.
Totally.
We'll read one of those people.
And when it's launch time, we'll read her book, and then we can have like a book celebration podcast episode.
Yes, I love that.
So we ran out of time for one of our questions from our friend Courtney K. So sorry, Courtney, we missed out on your question. What has been the most rewarding part of the publishing journey so far? But we might be able to get Hannah to do like a little write-up that we can share somewhere in our store.
That's a good idea. Yeah, and speaking of Courtney K, now I saw on Twitter today that her pre-order link is live. You can pre-order her book, In the Event of Love.
Oh my gosh.
When I saw that, I got chills, because I was like, this is real. Her book is coming out in August. They've got pre-order links.
Oh my God.
And honestly, this book is so special and just heartwarming. I could read it over and over again, because it's just so sweet. I just love her book.
I adore
And
her book, and everybody should go. I'm going to pre-order it as soon as we finish filming. Like, I can't believe I missed that post because I am ready for a physical copy yesterday.
Yeah.
But when I was reading, I was like picturing my physical copy, and it's just honestly one of my favorite reads ever. Like, it's not just a favorite read of last year. I just freaking love it. For me, I felt like, I don't know about you, I felt like major Sex and the City vibes, but in the best way, just like slipping into that kind of, and that's just a mark of her as a powerful storyteller, that you can connect it to something so loved and so familiar. It just gave me that vibe, even though it's a different setting, totally just that level of storytelling. And
yeah,
so you should all go and pre-order that book, that steamy by rom-com festive season Hallmark vibes. It's just everything.
It is
and it's hot. It's so hot. Angela and our eye streaks come out while we read it.
We sure did. It had me thinking things I didn't know I thought about.
Yeah. So she's on Twitter at court
underscore K. So COURT_KAE. Like, go to Twitter, find that pre-order link, and get on the train because her book is amazing. So, and I love that we can have this chat and she has no clue that we're doing this. Like, we're just shouting her out.
And it's called In the Event of Love as well, if you just want to Google it, if you don't know yet.
Yeah, because it's on Goodreads, you know, just like where you can just like put want to read or whatever on there. So, and hopefully we'll see her cover reveal soon, and just so many amazing things.
Yes.
Love it.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. The other viewer question we had, I've got it here on my paper, was from Kelly. So Kelly! For posting and sharing the love for our podcast. We appreciate it. And I just have to say again, like, how much drive and excitement it adds to us doing having our listeners get excited, because that's what we're doing it for, you know, like we want to connect with you guys, we want to share this journey, and so it just makes my day when people tag us and stuff, and I'm just like, okay, we hit the mark with that and people are enjoying it, so thank you. Keep posting, sharing. So her question was, what's one thing you wish you could have fixed in your manuscript before submitting to Pitch Wars? Angela?
What a good question. I have to say, like, I don't think I could have changed anything at that point. Like, I was just like at my like peak of revisions, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't know where else to take it. Yeah. I knew there was so much potential and that so many things could and should be changed. I just didn't know how to do it. So like, I think for me, like, I can't honestly say like one thing I should have changed, because I don't think I could have ever changed it post or pre Pitch Wars, if that makes sense. I mean, looking now how much it's changed, like I would have obviously changed like everything, but I wouldn't have been able to. I would not have been able to without a mentor. And then even after having Margie, like without having my friends read it, like trick partners, you know, my agent, like you need help sometimes. And sometimes you just need just that one person to just say, hey, what about tweaking this? And so I honestly can't say I wish I would have changed anything, because I couldn't have done it, if that makes sense. I don't know if I answered that right.
No, totally. I was thinking almost along the same lines. Like, I just, at the point when I got in, and I was actually going to add that I actually queried my Pitch Wars, not queried, I submitted the same book the year before to Pitch Wars and didn't get in with it. And I don't regret submitting it then. I don't regret when I submitted it after, because it's like you said, at each stage, I had done everything that I was capable of to that point. And like you said, I was submitting to pitch wars because I needed help to take it further. And I think that that's the thing, like you just at different, and we actually talked about something similar with Hannah, like you can't know that at that point in the journey. Like it's not, you can't be thinking like, what could I have changed? Is I feel the same. Like it's just, it's part of the journey. And I think as long as I think it's good to have other writers that you're critiquing with before going. That's the only thing I would say. Before subbing to pitch wars, you definitely already want to have people looking at your work, because there's no way you could know what level it's at if you're just doing it by yourself. And some people do, but for myself, I found like that was really important, finding friends before I got in, good friends that I trusted and they had a keen eye, and that gave me the, like, there was already the revisions happening, especially given that I had submitted it. I actually completely rewrote it the second year. So it was like the whole thing, like that book went under so many, it'll probably be rewritten again before everything's said and done. It's just, some books are like that. They just keep being rewritten and rewritten and rewritten. One day it will be something.
Yeah. And I think like, honestly, it seems like books just have a way of like not being right. And then when you do grow or change, or you learn something new and you go back to it, and then it just clicks of like, oh wait, it wasn't right because this was not there. You know, this character was doing the wrong thing. I had him wrong, you know? Yeah. And I think like allowing yourself, and I think Hannah mentioned this too, like to shelve something for a little while is sometimes the best thing to do, like, because sometimes you're so in the thick of it that you're not allowing the magic to kind of flow. And so when you do give yourself a breath and you let that thing rest and going back to it, and then you finally, it's like something just, like I said, just magic, some kind of, there's just this writing magic that needs to happen.
And I think if you ignore that and you try to change something when you're in the wrong mindset, you can wind up doing a whole bunch of stuff you're going to just have to change later. I think that time that you have to break from it, or sometimes you don't even need a break. It might just be fresh eyes that you trust, that like getting into pitch wars and having Artie look at it. And she was like, okay, so you've got your book is dual point of view. She's like, but what's Edgar's point? She's like, he has no agency. I was like, well, damn, he's there for Mia to crush on. I was like,
yeah, that's all.
And I put him there so you can see how awesome she is from his point of view. And she's like, yeah. She's like, but what's his purpose? She's like, he needs a purpose to have a voice. And actually, when I'd done the year before, so when I didn't get into pitch wars, I actually managed to snake a reader report with Adeline Grace when she was still doing editing, the All the Stars and Teeth author. She was still doing editorial stuff. And so she had given me actually similar feedback. But at that time, I didn't know how to do it. She was telling me to cut Edgar because he had no agency. And I wasn't ready to part with him. So with Artie, she had a solution of Edgar needs more agency. So then we just made him the son of the villain, you know, like what better way? Put that in there. Yeah, so that was another rewrite, but yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes you're just not ready yet because you're just not there as an author. Like you just don't, not to say you don't get it, but like you're just like, there's just a block because you're just not there and you're not open to it, you know?
When you've been smoothing something so much, sometimes you can't see, like with my intro to Soul Swapped, it's not that like I wasn't willing to try and change it, it's that it felt good how it was. So it's hard to want to destroy something that you've spent so long smoothing to change it to something else that you don't know. That's the scariest part, I think, for a writer, because you're like, I have polished and polished and polished and polished. If I pull this apart, and I wreck it is the thought pattern. I'm going to be Devo. But the thing is, like with Soul Swapped, I literally just duplicated my file. I was like, I've got the spare there. If I do mess it up and I hate what I've done, what have I got to lose by trying? And that intro now is one of my proudest things I've written, because it's just doing all the things that I haven't pulled off with earlier intros. And it's still true to me as a writer, which I was afraid of losing that by trying too hard to follow like a story structure, you know?
Yeah.
But you don't have to sacrifice one to have the other, is what I'm realizing. You can have some of the structure and the plotting stuff. But what's that quote? It's like learn the rules so you can break them like an artist, you know?
Yeah. No, that's good.
Like, I'm slowly starting to understand what that actually means. Like, when you know those core things, you get to play with it in your own way. But those core things are there, so it's not just, well, it's, you don't need them if you're just creating for yourself. But if you're creating for other people, I think the core things are there to help them make sense of your creative essence.
Yes. No, it's so good. And you can tell this latest version of your book, like I gobbled it up, and I had kidney stones.
I know.
I couldn't help it though, but it honestly, because
I believe you read it. You get like a friend award when you're like, I'm reading it, and you just told me I have kidney stones. I was just like, I don't even know what to do with that information. Is that all good now? Are you all?
Yeah, no, I feel good. I must have got them out. I don't know, but I'm good. Yeah, but I read it when I was in the heat of some awkward times of my life, but it really did. It made such a difference, this last version, and you can tell, like you got it. Like the story was finally like, and I still haven't gotten to read much about my boy, Mr. Gavin. So I'm excited for just all of it. And it feels like it's true. Like there's sometimes it's just this one little thing, and it just carries all the way through the book. But it is work, right? Like you have to go back, you have to go back and insert all of this new stuff that this new thing, has presented, but it's so freaking worth it. But writing is just hard work.
It is hard work. And it might seem like, to somebody watching me, I'm sure they think I just breezed through this revision. But I don't think I've ever worked so hard at anything in my life to pull off what I've done. Like, I did do this revision in a month. And when I say it was a major revision, I basically rewrote the first 10 chapters, which are the critical chapters. Like, if you fuck that up, then your submission isn't going to go anywhere in the trenches. So that was very nerve-wracking. And then as I rewrote it, I realized what I had now added had changed a bunch of stuff. So I had to do a full revision. And as I did that, yes, Gavin got he got more agency, and his love interest got way more agency, and it literally just tied everything together. But that is all I did all month, every day, 8 to 10 hours a day, revising that novel. And I'm lucky that I had that time that I could dedicate it to that. I didn't have any firm deadlines for Gobsmack, the performing arts company I write for. And so I could literally just focus on it. And I found that doing it that way this time, I would love to do it that way in the future. I was really in my book. When you watch something and you're watching it and you're like, this is everything. And then sometimes you take a break and you come back and it feels different.
Yeah.
I find that with my writing, that sometimes if I take too long a break, I come back and it feels foreign, and it takes a while to get back into it. But by doing this like super revision in a short block of time, I was really in the world. And I think that's the only reason I thought of that extra arc for Gavin, because I was there, I was with him, and I was like, well, what does he want? And like, what's like, like it just naturally came to me. And I think it's something I want to keep in mind for future revisions, because I don't know if I will ever write the perfect start in my first draft. I think I need to get to know my characters. I need to get to know my world. And for me as a writer, I can only do that through multiple revisions. That's what I've realized through this journey of writing this. Even if the first draft is like clean, because I wrote a pretty clean draft for this book and I was happy with it, but you just I can't keep hold of it all in my head. You know, some writers, they're able to keep hold of the whole world in their head at once. I'm like scatterbrained about it. I can't even fully picture my characters until like the final draft. They're just kind of like blurs moving through the book. And it's only now through this final revision I have very clear images of each character, which was exciting.
No, that's kind of where I am in my writing style. And I think it's like learning to be okay with that. Because you hear so many people, it's the plot, it's having the outline, it's doing this and that. And it doesn't work for everyone. And some of us just have to write it out and feel the story and get to know everything. And that's just like what I'm learning is how I have to do it. Because I tried so hard to make an outline. Like I know where I want it to go. I have like an ending scene in my head that I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, totally.
But I've learned if I plot it out, it takes the fun out of it for me because I'm not exploring anymore. I'm just trying to get to these plot points. Yeah. And it becomes less fun. So I'm learning that it's okay to just do this messy first draft and totally. and just call it like a zero draft, like an exploring draft where I'm just learning this world, who they are, what they're up to, what the stakes are, and then I'll go back and rework it and add the goods into it. Yeah. But I'm learning to just be okay with my scatterbrained writing style.
I think Amy Kaufman does that, so you're in good company. She's pro. She's one of our best YA authors, I would say. I'm biased. I think she's awesome. And I think she does that. She writes just a ground zero draft. It could be Laini Taylor. They might both do it. But you're in good company either.
Well, if she does it, then I am definitely
you're in the best company. And I think that's the thing, like if it's sucking the joy completely out of it, when I was trying to follow other people's version of plotting, it did suck the joy out of it for me so much. And now I tend to do like the beat sheet. I'll do a beat sheet and that it's like just the crucial plot points. And I'll start with that just to have like a thread, because I do get carried away and go on weird tangents if I don't have that. But I don't meticulously plot out every scene, because I also think sometimes that can disservice the book if you're trying to do someone else's writing style and it's not a fit for you, can wind up making the writing sound very formulaic and like dry.
Yeah. And I can't. Some people can, and I wanted to be like them so bad because it's like
you don't want to be them because you are unique and your writing is beautiful. You're a masterful writer in your own right. You don't need to be them.
Yes, that's right.
It's true.
Snapping over here.
Well, it's been an epic episode. I think was there anything else? Any other updates or things that we missed?
I don't think so. I mean, just our love for all our listeners and just how special we feel knowing that somebody's listening out there and liking us so far. So that's good.
Yes, thank you for liking us and our dorky laughing sessions.
Gosh, I know.
Thank you for putting up with our alternate sense of humor.
Yes, thank you. Because I swear, most of the days I'm like, I am annoying. But you know what? Yeah. Somebody out there maybe doesn't. Yeah.
Okay. I think To me, you're cool. And, I always like to think that people like us, we could entertain ourselves in prison if we were in solitary.
Okay, that's weird because for some reason I was thinking about that today. I was thinking
about this all the time.
Do you really?
I just shared a random internal thought. I always thought, because I think just being an overthinker through high school, and they tell you stories about it's not funny. They tell you stories about people who were locked up during war times for years on end. And so as an empath person, you picture yourself in that situation. And for some reason, it really just stuck with me all these years, picturing that and my husband says it all the time. He's like, you could just be fine just on your own, entertaining yourself. And I'm like, well, it's true.
It's so true. I don't know why I was thinking about it today. I was like, I could totally survive solitary confinement. I would be like, yes, just give me a pen and a piece of paper.
Do you want me to tell you something a really dorky young Mel fact? I would on this exact thing. I would literally when I would follow that story, that narrative really deep, I would start listing all the songs I knew.
Oh my God.
How many songs did I know that I could sing to myself in the cell?
I was thinking the same thing today.
Stop. We're the same person.
I know. I swear. I was like, I only know Christmas songs. It's the only songs I know all the words to. It's it. And
that's pretty festive. Your cell would be festive.
Yeah. Jingle bells. I'm ready.
Oh my gosh, this is gold.
That's weird. It's weird
that is spookily specific.
Very specific.
You might separated twin.
I'm kind of wondering.
Yes. I love that. I was thinking this the other day. I had a question for you. What was young Angela bopping out to?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Because where I grew up is very diverse. We had it all. And so I'm trying to think what I love E40, Too Short. Those are the rappers that I was always listening to. I had their albums. Alanis Morissette, No Doubt, any R&B.
No Doubt, that's classic.
Yeah, I know.
Concert. What was your first concert? That will tell us the true story.
You know what's interesting? I didn't go to many concerts. We would go to little hole in the wall kind of things that nobody I couldn't tell you who they were. Now.
Oh, you're too cool.
Yeah. No, I think I was just poor. I don't yeah. I couldn't afford to go to concerts. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Honestly, probably Beyonce was my first concert, and that was
amazing.
I was screaming my lungs out. It was so fun. What about you?
I was a little punk rock child.
Yeah.
My first concert was Good Charlotte.
Okay.
I was a total fangirl for Benji.
Well, okay. I see it.
I was there for that. So yeah, I went to a few also smaller pub performance things, but yeah, in my teens I was a hardcore punk rock.
Yeah.
I
feel the angst.
Yeah, my eyeliner was nice and dark and black, and
all yes,
band t-shirts, all that angst. I was a trope.
Oh yeah,
I was a trope.
You weren't like the other girls.
Exactly how I thought back then. I was so different. All my friends were guys, and I'd go to concerts with the guys because I wasn't like other girls. Oh, young Mel, how much you had to learn. No,
you were a walking young adult novel.
I was a walking, seriously. And the thing is, when you're that age, you think you're so unique. And so different. But yes, I was a walking young adult novel, literally.
Oh my God. I love
I
that.
just had to know. I love having an image of young Angela bopping out.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I felt like I was a wrecking ball. Like I just was so obnoxious. I thought like I was, oh my God, I thought I was so funny. Like I just was like, just said and did whatever I thought, and it was the best. And like, I was just annoying.
Oh my
And
God. I love it.
I was just
We're
like,
a trope
I got this.
too.
Yeah, I was like the girl, like everybody was like, okay, you're not that.
Oh, our
Yeah.
young adult lives. So there you go, listeners. That's something you didn't know previously. Maybe you didn't want to know, but there you go.
Yeah. And that's why we write young adult novels sometimes, because we're just working our way through our adolescence.
Right. Oh, well, it's been an absolute pleasure as always, my friend. And yeah, we will have a bit of a break for Christmas, and then we'll be back with Lissa.
Yes, Lizelle. Oh, I have her book too.
It's Lizelle, not Lissa. I thought Lissa was next. Lizelle.
Let me look up because I want to make sure I have her, because she I'm reading her book right now.
Yes.
Have you started it yet?
Not yet, but I'm so here for it.
Yeah, Lizelle Sambury. She wrote Blood Like Magic. And I'm halfway through it right now, and it is so like it's so different because it's like set in the future.
Really? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either, and it's so fascinating and fun to like go through her version of the future, and it totally like feels right, and like how the future is gonna be, and not like super far in the future, just like 20 years or so. And yeah, it's great. It's really good.
I can't wait to read it. I'm so behind on my reading, but I think now that I've got Queries in the Trenches, sorry, I'm still crying from laughing. I think now that I've got Queries in the Trenches, I'm gonna enjoy a lot of reading over this break. So it's right on the top of my list. I definitely want to get to it before we have her on. Yay! Yeah. So we've got that for January. So you're not gonna miss that, dear listeners. And yeah, thank you for. Well, it's kind of our end of the year.
Yeah, that's true.
So thank
Merry Christmas podcast
for the first year of the Publishing Persuasion, and we hope to continue to go down this path. And I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, continue. Whatever we're doing, we hope we continue that.
Yes. So
why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, Mel?
Thank you. Yes. So I'm mostly on Instagram at Melanie_Schubert_writer. And Angela.
And I hear Goose in the background.
Hi, Goose. I was wondering if you could hear her.
Yeah, I can hear her.
I'm sorry, her boyfriend is out. We made it. This is the first podcast where you've actually heard her going off. I thought she was going to start barking. I literally have my spray. Because she might go off, and I was like, I don't want to have to get up and deal with that. So
yeah,
she's pretty subdued.
Good. No, she's doing great. You can find me on Instagram at Angela Montoya Writes. I'm also at TikTok at Angela Montoya Writes. Yeah, that's mostly where I'm at these days.
And you are, let's just say it, you are low-key the queen of writing reels. I'm just gonna say it. I haven't seen any writing reels that are as good as yours.
Well, thank you. I mean, I'm having fun, just like always just making a fool of myself. So I just love that.
Maybe that's why you don't take yourself too seriously. I feel like a lot of writing reels are like too structured.
Yeah, I just couldn't. I couldn't.
Well, just keep rocking it. So go find Angela on TikTok, find us on Instagram, and
yes. And Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas and happy holidays, and we'll see you next year.